Welcome to New York State Homes and Community Renewals Section 3 webinar. Section 3. What is Section 3? Section 3 of the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1968 and implementing regulations ensures that employment and other economic opportunities generated by certain HUD financial assistance shall, to the greatest extent feasible, be directed to low and very low income persons. Section 3 is the law, and it is not an option. What does Section 3 do? Section 3 seeks to ensure that preference for employment, training, and contracting opportunities generated from the expenditure of certain HUD funds is given to local low and very low income persons, particularly those who receive federal housing assistance, as well as businesses that are owned by or substantially employ such persons. Why does Section 3 matter to me? Federal and state Section 3 policies require that any new employment opportunities stemming from certain HUD-funded activities be extended to Section 3 residents. That's you. As a Section 3 resident, you are given priority in new hiring situations, which result from HUD's efforts to rebuild your neighborhood. This also applies to increased contracting opportunities for Section 3 businesses. What triggers Section 3? The requirements of Section 3 apply to HUD recipients such as the state, contractors, and subcontractors who are required to hire new employees due to an award of a $100,000 contract amount or more. In addition, any entity that receives funds in an amount greater than $100,000 to complete housing construction projects are also required to comply with Section 3 requirements. Section 3 federal and state contract goals. At least 30% of all new employees hired have to be Section 3 residents, and at least 10% of the total dollar amount of all Section 3 covered contracts for housing rehabilitation, construction, and other public construction should be granted to eligible Section 3 businesses, and at least 3% of the total dollar amount of non-construction contracts. This includes accounting, marketing, architectural, or even engineering. These professional services should be granted to eligible Section 3 businesses. Section 3 residents. Are you a Section 3 resident? Public Housing Authority residents automatically qualified as Section 3 residents. Low and very low income persons who live in metropolitan area or non-metropolitan county where HUD assistance project for housing or community development is located. Section 3 status is race and gender neutral. The preferences provided under this regulation are based on income level and location. What is low income? Low income includes someone who is at or below 80% or below the median income in the surrounding area. A low-income person includes families as well as single persons. The HUD Secretary may establish income ceilings higher or lower than 80% of the median due to unusually high or low-income family incomes. What is very low income? A very low-income person includes someone who is or at below 50%. Or below the median income in the surrounding area. Very low income persons include families as well as single persons. The HUD Secretary may establish income ceilings higher or lower than 50% of the median due to unusually high or low income family incomes. Who constitutes as a new hire? A new employee hire means a full-time employee for a new permanent, temporary, or seasonal position that is created as a direct result of the expenditure of Section 3 covered financial assistance. Laid off workers. employee that was on the payroll of a recipient, developer, or contractor on the day that Section 3 covered assistance was provided can be counted towards the Section 3 minimum numerical goal for employment. How do I certify as a Section 3 resident? Fill out New York Homes and Community Renewals Department's certification for residents seeking Section 3 preference in training and employment form as found at the web URL below. Be sure to attach a copy of a lease for public housing or evidence of prior receipt of public assistance or evidence of current participation in a public assistance program or income information that establishes you as low income or very low income. Here's an example of the certification form that you would be finding in that URL. How do I find businesses who want to hire me? Below you will find a Section 3 business registry, which you'll be able to go to find businesses that are looking to employ Section 3 residents. Section 3 businesses. What is a Section 3 business? Must be owned by Section 3 residents, 51% or more, as described, or have at least 30% of a full-time employees who are currently Section 3 residents. This criteria can also be met if within 3 years of the date of first employment with the business, the individuals were Section 3 residents, or provide evidence of a commitment to subcontract more than 25% of the dollar award of all subcontracts to subcontractors to Section 3 businesses that meet these qualifications. Here's a copy of the business certification form that you can find on HCR's website that you can fill out as a Section 3 business. How do I register with HUD? Businesses can submit an online application for inclusion in the Section 3 registry at this URL. This is a self-certification process during which the business attests that it meets one of the statutory requirements qualifying it as a legitimate Section 3 business. HUD's Section 3 registry is used nationally by agencies that receive HUD funds, developers, contractors, and others to facilitate the award of covered construction and non-construction contracts to Section 3 businesses. Section 3 registry. This is the HUD link that you'll be using to qualify and verify that you can self-certify as a Section 3 business. HUD Section 3 Business Registry documentation. For inclusion in HUD Section 3 Business Registry, businesses must submit the online application. At that time, businesses are not initially required to submit any additional documentation to HUD. However, businesses will likely be required to submit supporting documentation as evidence of their eligibility prior to the award of a HUD-funded contract. How do I register with HCR? Similar to the HUD Section 3 Business Registry, Section 3 businesses can self-certify with the state by going to the URL below. Here is an example of the HCR Self-Certification Form. Registration does not guarantee contract opportunities. A Section 3 business is not entitled to a contract similar simply by registering with state or being listed in the HUD Section 3 Business Registry database. Section 3 businesses need to demonstrate that they are a responsible bidder with the ability to perform successfully under the terms and conditions of prospective contracts. The federal Section 3 regulation does not guarantee the award of contracts. How do I find out about Section 3 employment and contracting opportunities? Contact the HCR Section 3 coordinator. Visit HCR's Section 3 webpage frequently. Contact local units of general local government, city or county officials, community development departments, and regional planning commissions. Check with agencies that receive Section 3 covered funding. Watch your local newspapers, community newsletters, housing authority announcements, etc. Make sure you are registered as an eligible Section 3 resident on HCR's webpage and other HCR Section 3 coordinators. If you have any questions, please contact HCR Section 3 coordinator, Gwen Pope, using the email address provided or the phone number. Thank you for attending this webinar.